What's up? This is Dan, your great adventure guide, and Hurricane Harbor at Six Flags in Jackson, New Jersey has officially reopened. So, should you be going? We're gonna find out. There are 3 different categories that I'm going to be looking at to help you determine whether or not you should be going to Hurricane Harbor during COVID in 2020. And those 3 categories are safety, the attractions, and the wait times. Let's start with safety, since I'm sure that's what everybody is most concerned about. Or at least I hope you are. When you go to Hurricane Harbor, you need to wear a mask, just like a great adventure. There's hand sanitizer, and there are screenings for temperature and security screenings. All of that is just like what it is at Great Adventure. Very safe, very smooth, a wonderful experience. However, once you walk through those gates, everything changes. You only need to wear your mask when you are inside of a store, when you are purchasing food from some sort of food location, when you are inside of a bathroom, or when you're leaving the park. Otherwise, masks are not required, which makes sense because, pools, water slides, water, masks, they don't really go very well together. Imagine it, you're in Hurricane Harbor and there's still a lot of people there, even with the limited capacity, and nobody is wearing a mask. Well, immediately, people, they feel like coronavirus, it's no longer existent. It's just gone away once they walk through those front gates. And people are not good at social distancing when you're walking around. People are not good at social distancing when you're inside of the pools. And people are certainly not good at social distancing when waiting in line. I found that I would take my tube and hold it back far behind me, as far as I could, in order to stop the people behind me from walking up on me. And you best believe they were touching my tubes because they were trying to get as close as possible, which normally is not a big deal, but right now it is. Now on to attractions. Now thankfully, this did improve from my first trip over at Hurricane Harbor. The vast majority of attractions are open, including the wave pool, which I know is a very big win for most families. However, there are some slides that aren't open and another play area, and it is pretty important. So in terms of water slides, the Four Winds and Hurricane Mountain are both closed. And those are like water slide clusters. I don't know how to put it, but there's like 4 or 5 water slides in each of those areas that are all intertwined with each other. So that really does cut out a good portion of the amount of water slides that you can go on. But you still have Tornado, you have the Wave Racer, the ones where you're laying down. A lot of the water slides are open, and the family water slides as well. Those should be open as well. A lot of those weren't open my first trip, but I found that I believe there weren't enough lifeguards ready to work when I first went, and now it seems like they are better staffed. The other thing that is not open is Discovery Bay, and I can only imagine how much of a bummer this is for families, because though there are other kids areas, that one is by far the biggest and the best, and it is not open at all whatsoever. They have fencing up around that area where Discovery Bay is and the Four Winds, and so you are not able to go over to that area at all, and judging by those fences, I don't see a future in 2020 where they do open. And that brings us to the last category, the wait times. And this is the one that actually is really positive right now. So if you are going to Hurricane Harbor, don't expect to wait as long as you normally would, especially on those days in the past where Hurricane Harbor closes because they're up to full capacity. Right now, their capacity is much, much lower. So even with those water slides that aren't opened, the lines weren't that long. Even going on a water slide like Tornado, which notoriously has a very long wait, people were walking right up and getting onto it right away. So that is a major positive as far as being there. And if you go into Hurricane Harbor with your guard up, maybe wear your mask even more than you normally would have to in that park. If you are fighting for social distancing and lines, hitting people with your tubes so that they don't get too close and all that good stuff, then maybe this would be a positive experience. But honestly, if you really ask me whether or not you should go, don't do it, folks. It's just not worth it. It's really not worth the risk. Yeah, it's just not worth it. I'm sorry, but right now I would say that this park is unsafe no matter what Six Flags puts into place and all the procedures that they're following. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's a large crowd of people. People aren't social distancing and people aren't wearing masks. You are outside, which is a positive, but with all those other things to take into consideration, I would say just put Six Flags Hurricane Harbor on hold for this year in 2020 and be looking forward to going back in 2021. I hope that you found this video helpful. As always, please give it a like, that would help a lot. And if you find these videos helpful, feel free to subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you can get all the info you need to have the most successful trip to Six Flags Great Adventure, Hurricane Harbor, or anything else like that in the future. Thanks guys, have an awesome day.